So, next on the agenda is this. So, this is the Tamiya Baja Champ on the TL-01B chassis, and this was the very first hobby grade RC car that I ever got my hands on. It all started back from my 6th birthday, where my dad was up all night building this, and woke up on my 6th birthday to this fully built, complete with the Acom's Techno Plus radio, which I have no idea where that is at the moment, and literally everything to make it running. But as you can see, like the MO3L, which I have restored previously, this has been sitting in the shed for several years, and as you can see, it needs some major TLC. So with that being said, there's quite a bit I have got planned in store. So I'm going to be giving it a huge deep clean, like completely stripping it down and washing it in muck off, just like I did with the MO3, which now we were pretty much in the same condition as this was in, and now it doesn't even show its age and is ready to race. Now the plan with this is I'm going to be putting a Core RC 15-ton motor in when I can, and also a Metal Gear servo like I did with the MO3L, because the plan with this is I do want to race it at Iconic Revival, because at that event it's an eligible chassis, and yes, I cannot wait to get this thing running again. It's been a very long time, so let's get on with this. Right, let me just say right off the bat, you may notice on the back of the spoiler it says Mutant Racer. Why does it say that, and why was it written on there? I honestly can't remember. I was probably about 11 when I did that, and some other things were quite heavy infused, and also I wrote down on the bonnet there something heat. I can't remember. Anyway, as for this body, there's no way that I'm going to be using this again, purely just because of the sentimental value, and this is the original body, and the spoiler as well, from when I got it on my 6th birthday. So we're going to take that off and take the body off to take a look at the insides. So, there we have it, the TL-01B chassis. Yeah, there's quite a bit of rust on the central drive shaft there. So that's the original Acom servo it had in it, and also you may notice, well, that has broken off. I have got some metal pieces somewhere that I should be able to use with this. Here we have the original motor from, well, when I first got it. What else have I got in store? So, the other plan as well is, so I'm going to be putting a Core RC 15-ton in there, so that will be coming out, the Metal Gear will be going in its place. I'm going to be putting in an electronic speed controller, because this thing used a mechanical speed controller at the time, and I think it's sat somewhere in there. I can't remember, it's had most of the gubbins taken out. Anyway, with that being said, let's take this thing apart and get it ready for cleaning. So there you go, that is the TL-01B completely stripped down, and as you can see there is quite a bit of dirt left over on the kitchen table. I'm going to have to give that a good clean. Now the gears do seem quite fine, but they're using an older version of the differential gears, same as what the MO3 are using, I believe. In fact, I think these might be the same differentials as the MO3, which I restored recently. So I'm going to look into getting some new gears for this thing, just in case. Now the drive shaft, which I don't think the camera can know, but there is quite a bit of rust on there, so I am going to get a new one, just in case. I'm just going to use a completely new gearing system altogether. The drive shafts here, I'll see if I can focus on it, but there is quite a bit of rust on all four of them, and the camera just isn't focusing for some reason. Hang on a minute. Okay, so I'm having a few issues getting it. Actually, let's see if I can turn the exposure up. It's not the worst one of the bunch, but you can see there is quite a bit of rust on that drive shaft. So I've decided not to use these when I do completely rebuild it, just to be safe. Now actually this focus has gone on. Where's that? Okay, that's better. So the old ACOMS servo, or ACOMS, I don't know how to pronounce either of the two. This I'm not going to be using again, purely because just I want to use metal gears and just to stop nylon gears from... Now this motor, as you can see, the condition it in is not great, and I hooked this up to a bit of power earlier on, and it made a very interesting noise. So yeah, obviously this I cannot use again, so that's going to be going in a keepsake box, along with that servo and probably the gears, and all the other bits that I'm not going to be using. So I've got all the bits which I probably not going to be using in this little wallet. However, all the screws that I will be using, which seem perfectly fine, are all in here. In fact, I should probably put these pieces here to hold the... So where's the other bit? Anyway, not knowing what to say at this point, because I've just completely blacked out, let's get all these bits cleaned. Okay, so making a start on this piece, which is part of the main chassis. So to clean this off, I've got this in the sink ready. I've got a sponge with quite a, I know it's not, this isn't the rough, that's the rough side. This is a much more smoother side, so I'm going to be using that side to clean it off. But the stuff that I'm going to be using to clean off is this. Going to be using some Muck Off, and just to clarify, I'm not being sponsored by them. So this stuff I used to clean my MO3L, and I just could not believe how amazing this stuff was. I used it for the first time on my previous Tamiya restoration, and yeah, I love this stuff. So to start off, we're going to give it a good spray. Just used it earlier this morning for something else, but just... Gonna coat that, and obviously because I've come into contact with this stuff, I'm going to be washing my hands. So there you have it. So I'm going to leave that to soak in for just a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to that, and you can already see the mud's just sliding off of it. Wow. Okay, so I've left this piece caked in Muck Off. I've got the hot water tap running to rinse it off. So here we go. Might need to do a bit of a scrub, but oh wow. Might need to turn that down a bit because it might be splashing everywhere. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need to use the sponge. Wow. Okay, maybe I need to do a little bit about... Oh, I banged my head on one of the cupboard door handles, and I've got the hiccups. I have no idea how I got them from today, but here we are. But yeah, you know what? That's brilliant. That's fantastic. So I'll bring it up a bit closer. Yeah. Yeah, the muck off has gotten really into the nooks and crannies of this. And yep, I do not need to use the sponge. In fact, I think even in there, the muck off has got it off really good. Just running my fingers through that just for cleanliness check. Actually thinking about it, I might want to sponge like this could be. Actually, it's not really that noticeable thinking about it. I might give it a wipe down with some wet wipes later, but yeah, I'm really happy with that. So, time to get the tub into the sink. I'll give the bits and pieces, the remaining bits and pieces a spray, but I might rinse them off in the morning just so that it gives the muck off more time to get to it, and also the fact that we're nearing midnight. So, let's go. So here we have it, that's all of the ABS bits cleaned off, and as you can see from the muck off on the left, look how absolutely brown and murky the stuff is. This was all purple, well, it was slowly going into a sort of darker shade of purple, but now there is no purple. And I've got this brush in here in hope that there is still a chance of what is left in there of getting the dirt off this brush. Anyway, so with all those bits being cleaned, I have got some items in my basket for the restoration. However, at the moment I can't spare any cash to buy them, so I'm going to hold this off for a while. I'm going to leave this on the draining board, and then I'm going to bag up these bits, and hopefully very soon I can move on to the next step. Okay, so I filmed that quite a while ago. There's one more piece I'm waiting on, and that's just the oil shocks. But for now I'm going to do a assembly with what I've currently got, because I want to get this thing built. So there's all these bits washed off in a bag. I've got to bring some disinfectant wipes because there might be a bit of mud still left on some of the pieces. But anyway, I'll just be wiping that off in the process if there is any. So here we've got our propeller shaft, brand new one. Decided to do everything internally. So we've got new gears. Now these wheels, they are designed for competition buggies. However, I am trying to get this thing close to how it originally looked as possible. So these are just temporary. I will get some proper Tamiya wheels when I can. It's just that this was all I could afford at the moment. And if I am required to change them for Iconic Revival, yeah, I'll be putting the proper Tamiya ones on. So I've got drive shafts here. Got a set of joint cups here. So we've got some for the gears and some for the hubs. So got our differential gears here. Got the original screws from the kit, because didn't feel like anything was wrong with them. All metal bearings here. Got our steering knuckles here. These are
metal ones, they do look very good. In fact, I did do a comparison earlier, and yeah, these were the same ones, and these look to be almost the same as what was on the MO3, so maybe if something happens to the plastic ones on that chassis, I could potentially be giving these a try. Now the motor, this is just temporary, so it's a 20-ton RX-8Z from AliExpress, and I do have this exact motor in my Strada XT after I wasn't getting on with the 35-ton motor because that was too slow, and the original motor burnt out. So this is actually a pretty good motor, but I do want to get a Core RC 15-ton in there just for the speed. Also, I need to get used to faster vehicles. Now the ESC, so this was actually included with my Plasma Edge 2, however I decided to go full brushless with that, so this I may as well use for the TL-01B, and I'm going to get rid of that Tamiya connector whenever I can. Just need to buy some XT60s first. So that's pretty much it for now, so let's start assembling with what I've currently got. Okay, so that was a span of 2 days, and yeah, it's done. It actually sounds very nice. There were a few circumstances that happened. Let's just put it at that. So first of all, was the propeller shaft. Turns out was not long enough, and it was. I thought it was the right one, but it turns out it's not. It was by that much. That much shorter. Yeah, anyway, the other problem was the steering knuckle. So these ones, they do fit, but they're not the right ones. The shape of them, I completely forgot, was a bit different. The ones I've actually got, you can just about see them here, are pretty much the same shape as, or similar to what was on the TL-01B. Well, the arm was the same shape design. And I've also had to use some bushes to hold it up in place. But it turns out that these, now what's weird, these were listed as being suitable for the TL-01B, but turns out they're not. However, they are in fact the same design as the servo horns, not servo horns, the steering knuckles on the MO3. So I could potentially be, I'll definitely be saving these for this. The other thing as well, yeah, the shocks did arrive. I didn't really want to use these. In fact, I'm not quite 100% sure if these are the right ones, because that's perfectly straight, and if I just take a bit lower to see the ground clearance, yeah, so hang on, I don't want to make too much noise because it's quite late, but the suspension isn't the greatest. I'm trying to think what else happened along the way. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I did try to use these ones, but it turns out that the sort of screw-in terminals were just not. That they were a bit too long, and that we now have to file them out. But other than that, the actual build itself went really well. It runs well. I haven't. The only thing I really need to do is sort out is get rid of this Tamiya connector and replace it with an XT60. Yeah, so I've got the electronic ESC rather than the mechanical, which this used to have. Now, the other thing I also want to point out as well is the steering isn't quite. Don't think the camera actually doesn't look too bad on the camera, but not quite perfectly even. So I'll definitely have to get that sorted out. Might move the screws from there to that hole if I can. So the switch I've got here, held on together with mammoth tape, which should be fine. Now, in terms of where I've placed the ESC, I'm not quite 100% sure if I'll be able to put the body on with this there, because if I do, actually, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, so we've still had this the whole time. The original instructions from when my dad built it just before my 6th birthday, and just put those on the floor. I'll take care of that later. So yeah, the wheels, as I mentioned earlier, yeah, these are going to be temporary. If I do want to race this as at Iconic Revival, I'm not 100% sure if the proper Tamiya tyres are going to be mandatory, but these are a suitable. They're pre-glued for 110 competition tyres. I don't know if I'll be able to use them, but I'll definitely ask to make sure if I can. So also got the nuts, which were a royal blue, nice colour. And the other thing as well, this. Now, this is just really for show only. Because I kind of wanted to give it that more classical look, so I couldn't really. I was debating on putting the receiver behind this area, but then I thought that probably won't work out. And just looking at it, given the way the body is, it should be fine. Because if you look, so the receiver would be above here in this area, so it's literally right here. So I think that might be fine, but not 100% on that. Anyway, with that being said, the next time I do cut will be to the XT60 on the ESC, but I don't know when that will be, because I've got a christening coming up this weekend, and I have no idea when I'll be able to spend more money on it. All I need to buy is the body, and I think that's pretty much it, and as well as the Tamiya tyres if I need to. But I'm going to stop talking and I will cut to the next chapter. Okay, so roll on to a few days later, and I do have the XT60 onto the ESC, finally. So, I'm going to try and do this beforehand. And thankfully on this XT60, it's actually tight. It's actually it's a tight squeeze, I'm sorry. And, yeah, just ignore my Crocs. I don't really wear them out, I just wear them just for lunging. So I've got the switch mounted, obviously here. So turn it on. So the steering works. Full throttle. Okay, something at the back doesn't sound good. Right, so that's interesting. It sounds. Hang on a minute. Yeah, at the front, it sounds fine. But at the back, it's a bit louder than it probably should. Maybe if I drive it around for a little bit and see what happens. I might do just a quick test outside. Okay, so this is the very first run the TL-01B has had since the restoration. So see how fast. Can it run?
It flows quite well.
I mean, considering it's a 20-ton motor, that's actually not bad.
So very happy with that. That works. Yep, I'm happy with that. So despite the steering at the front not being perfectly straight, it drives quite decently. Pretty nice through that. Hopefully, I might have to take it to a there's a dirt track somewhere. I might take it along to that, praying that there's going to be nobody there. Now the noise it was making in the back, that's been solved, because I did drive it around for a little bit, and I'll just be gentle so that I really should put rubber on this. Okay, so that's sounding a lot better than before the test pilot. So with that being said, the only thing there's one thing I do need to do. So if I do turn the transmitter off, yes, so it does that. So that I'm going to fix, because I just need to set the failsafe on the receiver. And I will also plan on making a video as to why failsafe is very important for RC cars. Not just if you're using them for racing, but also if you're using them for your own leisure as well. So that video will hopefully come soon. But until then, the next we will be rolling on to is the body. And now we have the body shell with the spoiler. So this one is a reproduction of the Baja Champ body, courtesy of Penguin Custom body shells. And there's yep. So thank you guys for carrying on with making these after Tamiya discontinued them. So I'm going to try and open this thing with one hand. Probably not going to have much better luck there, thinking about it. Screw it, hang on. Okay, and voila! So there we have it. And it's almost 100%, well, it's pretty much 100% identical. Still, yeah, that's the perfect shape. So just put that. Actually, I probably aren't going to be able to do much with the antenna. So now that I have it, I'm gonna make a start. I just got to find the right scissors first. I'm gonna make a start on cutting it and prepping it for painting for tomorrow, but I will not be time-lapsing the process, because I just can't be able to set up the camera, and I don't think you really need to see how the process works. I think you get the gist of it. Anyway, let's cut it. So we've got both the body and the spoiler cut, and definitely looking a lot closer to its glory days, minus the original wheels, but we're making progress. So unfortunately the body didn't actually come with window stickers. However, I did find some online that I'm going to look at printing out and printing them on sticky back paper, which I'm going to put on sticky back vinyl, because sticky back paper is going to stick too well to this, and it's going to be a bit difficult to get off. So I'm going to deal with that in the morning. The spoiler just come off there. I need to clamp that one on. So plan of the colour is, I don't think this is the same shade of blue that I painted, that my dad painted the original body in. Yeah, so I'm going to try metallic blue, and I do have quite a bit left over. So I've got that at the side. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to sort out some window stickers, so I can then paint this thing tomorrow. Alright, so what I done, yeah, got some window stickers on. I was a bit curious about the back window, because the previous body didn't have that, but I just thought, oh well, just stick it on. So what I did was, I found some window stickers on Google, and scaled them to size, printed them out on sticky back paper, then put them on sticky back vinyl, and here we go. So, the body and spoiler is ready for painting, but it's been raining. I'll see what I can do of the best situation. I probably won't film the process, because that means having to get the tripod, and we'll add extra runtime to the video. So, I guess I'll have to cut to the body painted. So I'm actually going to try and get through this a bit quick because I'm in the process of editing, and that point on, given the runtime it's currently at, I thought, yeah, it's been a bit long of a watch, so I decided to power through this. Anyway, without further ado, here it is. Here is, at long last, my restored Baja Champ TL-01B. Despite the fact that I haven't sorted decals for it yet, I was going to try and sort some out for this video, but I'm in the process of doing some custom ones to personalise it a bit more, because sorting decals for this, they're in other countries and shipping for them is ridiculously expensive, and the decals in general are ridiculously expensive where they are. But yeah, really happy with how this turned out. I actually don't mind the racing wheels as such. If I am required to put the original Tamiya ones on, I might have to do that, but I did check the Iconic Revival rules, and it did say any appropriate tyre is permitted, so given these are pre-glued, I'd assume that these will be okay. So with that being said, let's get some beauty shots of this thing.
Lingers after fire.
Okay, so with that done, I want to take it for a little drive in its fully restored form. Actually, there was something I did want to mention as well. So the receiver I did put at the front here, but I've actually, don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I've shifted it at the back so that I can make use of the antenna. So I've actually got the antenna wire threaded through to the antenna tube here. Anyway, so thankfully the weather has been kind for once, so while I've got the chance, let's take this thing out for a quick test. Alright, so here we have it. I brought it on the same stretch of road that I brought my MO3 after I restored it. So, gonna try this with one hand. I did drive it along for a little bit to save me carrying it, and also to make use of the battery, just to see how long it will last. Let's send it. You know what? For a 20-ton motor, that is pretty fast. And it drives very nicely. Even sounds like it used to. Okay, I'm going to put the phone on the tripod because I want to get a little bit of action. Yep, I am very happy with how this thing drives. The handling is brilliant. Now for the off-road, there is a area that's literally just around the corner where I have previously driven the Maverick Strada XT while I was running that on a 3S LiPo, and that with a 540 motor ended up being a mistake. So yeah, I'm going to take this over to there to see how well this performs on grass. So this is the area where I have brought it to. It's quite a nice, beautiful spot actually, quite a long stretch there. Anyway, so I drove it along here for a little bit. Anyway, here we go. So considering the grass, well, the grass to be fair has actually been trimmed. I don't know what that noise is in the background. I hope probably a bus. On short grass it seems to be fine, but when it gets to longer areas it does seem to struggle. And to be fair, I did feel that those shocks may not be long enough, because it does make the profile of the buggy quite short in comparison to what I swear it was previously. Okay, it veered to the left suddenly. That's a bit worrying. Somebody with a dog coming. Okay, I'm just going to stop that right there because there's a dog coming.
The smoke lingers after fire.
Okay, so I think you get the idea with that, but overall, very happy with how this thing drives. So, not really much I can elaborate on that. I'll save it all for when I go back to the garage to wrap up the video. Okay, so while on the way back, you can probably see where this struggles at times. Okay, so it didn't quite... It was that particular area, hang on. Yeah, so... Oh, there we have it. So I've driven it on grass that long previously and it's been fine. I definitely feel that these shocks are not long enough. And I'm definitely going to be replacing them with something longer when I can. Anyway, back to the garage. And with that, that was the restoration of my Baja Champ TL-01B. I'm so glad I never parted with this thing. I will never ever part with this ever. Because there was a time in my life where I just really needed money. But this, because of it being buried in a shed, was probably the reason why I kept forgetting about it and never parted with it in the first place. But I'm so glad I didn't, because this was my very first hobby grade RC car. I know I probably mentioned that previously, but that's the big reason why I'll never part with it. This was the thing that got me into hobby grade radio control cars, and I will hope to create many more memories with this thing in the future. It even sounds like it did back in the day. Not as close to how it looked, but I think that's probably a good thing, because it means that I would I kind of want to personalise this a bit more if I'm going to start racing with it at the Iconic Revival, so it stands out a bit more than the original Baja Champ decals. with that being, I think I might save that for another video thinking about, because given how long this has been Overwatch, I decided to leave it at that. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully we'll be seeing more of this in the future. And I have no idea what I'll be doing for next week's video. I don't know if I will have anything for next week's video. But I'll see you just whenever, I guess. So take care.